As we delved into Canadian art, we found ourselves captivated by the story of the Group of Seven and their inspiring portrayal of the splendor of Canada's landscapes. Their work is celebrated as the cornerstone of Canadian painting, establishing it as a distinct and cherished national art form. At the vanguard of this transformative movement stood Tom Thomson, whose visionary approach profoundly shaped the course of Canadian art. Although he was not a formal member of the Group of Seven, having passed away 3 years before the group was officially established, his remarkable contributions were instrumental in its formation and success. Lawren Harris, a renowned Canadian artist and a member of the Group of Seven, shared insights into the group's history. He said Thomson was already seen as part of the group, even before it had a name, just like the others. Tom Thomson was born near the small village of Claremont, Ontario, into a large family with a strong affinity for the arts. His father sketched. At least 5 of Thomson's relatives were skilled amateur artists. Notably, one of his family members, George Thomson, achieved professional status. In other words, Tom Thomson was deeply influenced by his family. Sketching quickly became a central focus for him, and, as he matured, he explored oil and watercolor mediums, broadening his artistic technique. When Thomson turned 21, he left home to prepare for an office job. However, he began developing skills in penmanship and copperplate writing. He collaborated with several photo engraving companies in Seattle, including Mering and Blake and Seattle Engraving. He also worked with Legg Brothers and Grip Limited, both based in Toronto. By 1907, Grip Limited had gained significant acclaim as Canada's leading advertising and printing house. It was renowned for its pictorial advertising and printing reproductions of artworks. Grip Limited also introduced the Art Nouveau style to Canada and played a key role in pioneering metal engraving and the 4-color printing process. In 1909, the Grip hired Tom Thomson as a commercial artist in the design section. There, he met several future members of the Group of Seven: James MacDonald, Frederick Varley, Lawren Harris, Arthur Lismer, and Franklin Carmichael. In those days, artists were still discovering their paths and exploring new ideas. It was an exciting time of experimentation and mutual inspiration. Soon, Thomson, Jackson, Lismer, and Varley embarked on a journey across Ontario, working closely together and supporting one another on numerous endeavors. A close friend of Thomson, Dr. James MacCallum, was a professor of ophthalmology at the University of Toronto with an ardent passion for art. He eagerly attended exhibitions of the Ontario Society of Artists and was an active member of the Arts and Letters Club, where he first formed connections with Lawren Harris and James MacDonald. It was in MacDonald's studio that Tom Thomson had the opportunity to meet Dr. MacCallum in 1912. James MacCallum immediately recognized the divine spark in Thomson's work and saw his potential, encouraging him to pursue art full-time. Reflecting on Thomson's sketches from 1912, he admired their truthfulness and described Thomson's paintings as an encyclopedia of the North. He saw them as a visual chronicle of the landscape, capturing the terrain in every season, at every time of day, and under all kinds of weather. James MacCallum provided essential financial support to Thomson. enabling him to dedicate the entire year to his craft. After Thomson's untimely death, Dr. MacCallum played a key role in preserving and advocating for his art. In 1943, he donated a substantial collection of Thomson's works, 85 pieces, to the National Gallery of Canada. James MacCallum's dedication to supporting and promoting Thomson's art was crucial in ensuring his legacy endured. Thus, Thomson was afforded the rare opportunity to paint freely, fully immersing himself in his artistic expression without financial constraints. Earlier, in May of 1912, Tom Thomson made his first visit to the captivating Algonquin Park with his friend Harry Ben Jackson from Grip. As Thomson explored the park, he was immediately enchanted by the stunning beauty of Canoe Lake. From that moment on, Thomson's heart was profoundly drawn to the majestic and serene wilderness of this land, which became a lasting source of inspiration for his work. As Dr. MacCallum observed, Thomson didn't paint simply for the sake of art. He painted because nature compelled him. Through his brush, nature found its voice, and Thomson became its conduit. In 1913, Tom Thomson exhibited for the first time at the Ontario Society of Artists' 41st annual exhibition. His painting, Northern Lake, was purchased by the Government of Ontario. Between 1914 and 1916, Thomson participated in 3 more annual exhibitions. During this period, his works Moonlight, Northern River, and Spring Ice were acquired by the National Gallery of Canada. Algonquin Park was the muse for Thomson's most notable works, created between 1915 and 1917. Among his most striking paintings from this period are The West Wind and The Jack Pine, which have become iconic in Canadian art and symbolize the spirit of the future group of 7. Thomson used the pine tree shapes in his works to symbolize the steadfast nature of the Canadian people and their quest for independence, whether consciously or intuitively. His paintings often feature birches, representing a deep respect for nature and all living beings, a sentiment that resonates with Canadians today. Thomson was captivated by trees, their silhouettes, the way light interacted with their multicolored crowns. He found inspiration in the intricate details and textures of the natural world, which played a significant role in his artistic expression. In his later years, Thomson developed a particular fondness for painting the sky. He began to explore the changing colors and moods of the sky with greater depth, capturing the nuances of light and atmosphere. As his interest deepened, night and twilight scenes began to appear more frequently in his work. His paintings from this period reflect a heightened sensitivity to the subtleties of the evening sky and its transformative effects on the landscape. Although Thomson primarily focused on painting nature, there is a suggestion that he struggled with depicting people. However, it seems that, for Thomson, humans were simply another integral part of nature. This perspective is reflected in his work, where human figures often blend seamlessly into the natural landscapes he so lovingly pictured. As James MacCallum once remarked, Tom Thomson's aims were truthfulness and beauty, beauty of color, of feeling, and emotion. After his death, in a sorrowful article featured in the Canadian magazine, MacCallum wrote that Thomson's brilliant color sings the triumphant hosannas of the joy and exaltation of nature. The artist possessed an extraordinary talent for blending paints on his palette, composing breathtaking and distinctive tones and hues that continue to hypnotize audiences to this day. Researchers have also highlighted Thomson's distinct influence on the work of the Group of Seven, especially on artists like Jackson, Lismer, MacDonald, Harris, and Carmichael. Though his life as an artist spanned less than 4 years, it burned with remarkable intensity. Tom Thomson's legacy includes over 400 sketches and 50 large canvases that capture the splendor of Canada's scenery. Romantics see Thomson as a messenger of nature, believing his artworks are an intimate conversation with the wilderness. They feel that after answering his artistic calling, he was drawn back into the very heart of the land he so tenderly captured. Still, the circumstances surrounding his death remain shrouded in mystery. Thomson's life was cut short in the summer of 1917, at the height of his creative prime. At just 39 years old, his body was discovered in Canoe Lake. In a poignant tribute, his friends built a memorial cairn at Hayhurst Point to honor his legacy. A bronze plaque, crafted by grieving James MacDonald, adorns the cairn and reads in part as follows: "He lived humbly but passionately with the wild. It made him brother to all untamed things of nature. It drew him apart and revealed itself wonderfully to him. It sent him out from the woods only to show these revelations through his art, and it took him to itself at last." Initially buried at the site, Tom Thomson's remains were later moved by his family to the cemetery in Meaford, Ontario, where he rests beside Leith Presbyterian Church. Over a decade passed as the Group of Seven and Tom Thomson's friends and colleagues pursued their artistic journey together before their creative paths diverged. Despite this, one thing never changed: their memory of Tom as eternally young, his spirit and artistry forever alive in their hearts. Thomson's friends undertook extensive efforts to elevate his reputation and ensure the enduring impact of his legacy. They organized exhibitions, wrote articles, and engaged in public speaking to celebrate his contributions to art, striving to secure his place in history and maintain his influence within the artistic community. Many of Tom Thomson's paintings are housed in prestigious galleries, including the National Gallery of Canada in Ottawa, the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto, and the Canadian Art Collection at the McMichael Art Gallery in Kleinburg, Ontario. Some of his works are displayed at the Tom Thomson Art Gallery in Owen Sound, his hometown. Lawren Harris later confessed, "When I laid in the painting, it suddenly struck me that it could express Tom Thomson. And thereafter, it was Tom I had in mind. His remoteness, his genius, his reticence."